advantages against Brisbane, so you've got to be on your best football behaviour.
That's right. I mean, it's not just the behaviour, but it's being alert for the full period. I mean, if you've played the football, you've got to be alive, you know, and if the kick's been put through, we've got to have 13 people chasing, you know, well, if that's possible. But, you know, every facet of the game, and most particularly defence, there's so many people that you line up as threats and then another one pops up, so it's pretty difficult to do.
Off the field, great support. The patrons have come out again tonight. What's the key on the field to toppling the big boys of rugby league? Well, I think basically, I mean, it is a simple game, rugby league, and if we can complete sets and be committed in defence as we have been against teams like Canberra early in the year and Newcastle, you know, they were teams that are always going to be in the 10 and or if not the 6, and we came out on top of those people, and if we have the attitude that if we've done that, we should be able to do it again. So that's the attitude. Good luck tonight. Thanks very much, Chris.
Sounds simple, but this Brisbane side is very skillful. Lately, they haven't been up against any of the top sides.
No, but Balmain showed that you can beat them or go close to it if you defend very well, and that's what they did. I'm sure that's part of Tim Sheen's plans. They are beatable, but I think Melbourne did the Broncos a favour last night. They've shot to the head of the ladder, and Brisbane really need to come up with a win tonight.
Well, let's see who Brisbane have in their last 2 games, as they shoot for this minor premiership and a week off in the finals. Auckland next week at ANZ, and then South to finish at the SFS.
I guess it's the kind of draw that the Cowboys would like to have finished up with their last couple of games, and in fact the last 5 or 6 matches, but it's not to be. Brisbane should be minor premiers, should be in the top 2 at least, but they have to win tonight, as we've said.
Now the Bomber has with him the Brisbane performance coordinator, Craig Bellamy.
Well, Craig, obviously an important match. Brisbane would like to stay number 1 or 2 heading into the semi-finals.
Yeah, obviously we see it as very important as finishing in the first or second spot to get that week off. You know, a lot of our guys have had a tough season with the Origin, and you know, a lot of them have played most of the games this year. So we really like to say 1 or 2 to get a week off in you know, the first semi-final week. Yeah. Week in, week out, teams try to knock off Brisbane, being the you know, the litmus for other clubs. You wouldn't expect anything different up here at Malanda? No, obviously, you know, it's getting towards the end of the season, and some of the sides we have played they can't make the 10, and they sort of see their season, or their grand final, I suppose, is bumping off us. So, you know, like I say, everyone thinks we've had an easy run home, but we've had some tough games, and we expect another one tonight. How have you and Wayne Bennett kept their minds focused, keep them, you know, in tune for games like this? Yeah, it's fairly hard. I know some of the older guys, you know, really are waiting for September to come around, but like I say, we're in the top spot at the moment, and I think, you know, the players would be, you know, take a fair bit of pride out of finishing first, and I think that's important for us tonight. It's a laid-back city here in Townsville. The people are sort of fairly casual. Is that easy to rub off onto the footballers to get caught in that trap? Oh, no, well, I suppose that's not too bad, I think, for before the game. We like our players relaxed, and I'm sure they are now, but when they cross the sideline, I'm sure we'll be really fire it up and well, yeah, to get the Cowboys, I suppose, because it is a local derby, I suppose, a Queensland derby, so that's part of the, you know, part of our motivation tonight, I suppose, yeah. So, yeah. All right, good luck. So, okay.
Well, Badge, I won't ask you for a tip, but how far?
Well, I think a fierce battle early, as Craig said, the local derby, half-time fairly close, but I really think it'll be a healthy margin to the Broncos at the end of the match.
Okay, just about time to go straight back to Terry Kennedy at North Sydney Oval.
Well, thanks Warren and Gary Belcher. One thing for certain, Blocker, I bet you they're warmer up there at Malanda Stadium than we are here at North Sydney Oval.
Well, after watching that, I know one thing for certain. Those blokes are tossing them up. To think that the North Queensland Cowboys are any chance tonight, they've got no idea. They're just trying to talk it up. Brisbane in a canter.
I've got to stick with Blocker also. The Brisbane Broncos, they're on 31 competition points. In about 2 hours' time, they'll be on 33 competition points and back in the lead of the competition. On behalf of Steve Roach and myself, Terry Kennedy, we bid you farewell now from North Sydney Oval.
Times. I love my team when they're going through the bad times. Love the night, like Sunday. Exclusively live AFL in Sydney and Brisbane. The round 19 clash between Adelaide and Port Adelaide. After 2 losses, Adelaide had a steadier last week, while Port are playing well but struggling to win. This local derby is always entertaining, and the result will have a profound effect on the finals makeup. Adelaide play Port Adelaide. 3:15 Sunday, exclusively live Sydney-Brisbane on Sports Australia 2.
The computer graphics on the Sports Australia NRL coverage are brought to you by Unisys, the leaders in computer technology.
Tonight's NRL coverage is proudly presented by Harvey Norman.
Everybody loves Harvey Norman.
For so long, the Cowboys looked true top 10 contenders.
Got to score! Oh, great try! Josh HANNAY!
But in recent weeks, the sheen has been taken away from the boys from North Queensland.
Grabs another one, and it might be good night, Cowboys.
But there's plenty of gloss about their more illustrious cousins from Brisbane.
Good fires into Wendell Sailor. Sailor will bring it around and score underneath the post.
Tonight from Malanda Stadium, it's North Queensland against Brisbane.
Hello everyone, welcome to a balmy evening in Townsville. Great atmosphere, big crowd. Going to be up around 30,000 here tonight, and most of them are going to be right behind the Cowboys. But Gary Belcher, not all of them.
Well, no, there's a couple of North Queensland boys in the Brisbane Broncos outfit. Gorden, TALLIS and Wendell Sailor would have their own mini fan clubs out there in the stand tonight. Of course, I reckon a big cheer will go up as well for Ian Roberts when he runs out for the Cowboys after a bit of a spell.
Certainly boost that Cowboys side. Let's look at the head-to-head clashes between the two teams over the last couple of years. Played 5, Brisbane have won 4 of them. There was one draw played last year at ANZ Stadium, but this season it was a record score posted by the Broncos, 58-4 at ANZ. They really wasted North Queensland that day.
Yeah, they've really been in try-scoring mode this year. As it says there, 1 try and they'll break the club record. And a bit of a mini battle going there with Darren Smith leading the competition on 19 tries. Steve RENOUF and Wendell Sailor on 16 to be very keen to overtake him, perhaps tonight.
Let's take a look at the recent results for the two clubs. Firstly, North Queensland. Last week they lost to Auckland. It was 18-all with 15 minutes to go. A couple of late tries made that score look bigger than it should have been. Otherwise, they're losing to South here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's been one of their problems, hasn't it? They're just that finishing or the end of the match, they just can't get over the top. I reckon they'll really be in this match early tonight, but we'll see how they finish.
And the Broncos beating everyone who's come their way, except for a hiccup against Balmain 2 weeks ago, 10-all.
And some sides need that, don't they, as they get closer to the finals, and Brisbane got a bit of a shake-up with that. Balmain showed that they're not unbeatable, and they hung in very well. Great defence that night.
Well, I'm tipping the Broncos. I won't ask you for your tip, but how far are they going to win by?
Well, I think they'll get away with it in the end, and I've got to say around 12 to 14 points, maybe a little bit more. Let's see how ruthless they are tonight.
The ground record set last year when the Broncos came to town, 30,100 that night, and it's going to be up there again tonight. Great atmosphere, Gary Belcher, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. I think they'd break the ground record if they wanted to. I'm not sure they're going to let that many in the ground. Could be almost dangerous, but I think they're really in for a treat, particularly early, some tough going.
Here come the Broncos. They're in enemy territory tonight. They have got a few corporate supporters that made the trip up, as well as the local fan club for Wendell and Gorden. Listen to the roar from the crowd. Queensland heroes on display in the Broncos. North Queensland fans appreciate quality, and that's what you get with the Broncos. The lineup, look at the back line. Lockyer, Hancock, RENOUF, Smith, Sailor, Walters, Langer. No injuries at all in the side there. And the forwards just as strong. WEBCKE, Phillip Lee comes into the hooking spot. Brad Thorn goes up to the front row. Gorden, TALLIS in the second row with Petero, CIVONICEVA starting. Peter Ryan's the lock forward with Platt and G dropping back to the bench. Wendell Sailor is going to Leeds in England to play rugby union and rugby league, but sure can play rugby league, can't he?
Yeah, he's a great player, and I guess that's in the back of his mind, but concentrating, just trying to get back up the top of that point scoring list.
Just waiting for North Queensland. Here come the Cowboys. John Lomax leads them out, re-signed with the club this week. A few players are leaving, but they'll be giving it everything tonight. Last home game of the season for North Queensland tonight. Scott Mahon there, coming into the side. Mahon getting his chance at fullback, replacing Chris Tassel. Josh Hannay moved to the wing this week. Noah NADRUKU and Ray Mercy the centres. Michael COOREY, his first starting run out there for the Cowboys tonight. Andrew DUNEMANN and Jason FERRIS the halves. LOMAX, Steve Walters, Martin Locke, a former Bronco in the front row. Dale FRITZ back into the side after being originally dropped. Mark SHIPWAY, second row partner. Kyle Warren the lock. Ian Roberts on the interchange bench. And Steve Walters, one of the great Australian and Queensland hookers, playing his last match here at Malanda Stadium for the Cowboys.
It hasn't been the happiest of years, but the last month or so, Steve Walters has found that sort of form that had him at the top of the tree not so long ago. He'll look for a big one tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, can you please stand for the Australian national anthem?
The Australian anthem about to be played. Cheer girls all around the ground. With a choir of 30,000 joining her. Stirring rendition. It's a wall of noise here. The referee is Paul McBlane. And he blows the whistle and away we go. Is there an upset possible here tonight? Well, we'll see if there's some sting in the early tackles as Petero CIVONICEVA brings it back and quickly met by Martin Locke. Dummy half is Phillip Lee, getting his chance in that role again. John Plath on the bench. Wayne Bennett experimenting somewhat with his side in the last couple of weeks, particularly in that area. First penalty.
Well, they were up in their face, the Cowboys, doing the job that the coach would no doubt have told them, but just a little bit too much. They held down the Broncos there and forced the referee to make that decision.
Darren LOCKYER finds touch. And immediately the Broncos ready to take it to them. Shane WEBCKE first up. Lee in at dummy half. There's THORN moved into the front row, but there could be some interchanging there between he and G and CIVONICEVA on the halfway. Here's TALLIS winding up, and don't they crunch him? Oh, they're after Gorden TALLIS. Martin Locke in there with SHIPWAY. Now Langer clears it away on the kick. Don't think he waited till the last tackle and finds touch.
Good play there from Allan Langer. Certainly some sting in the defence there from the Cowboys, but Langer knows that if that extra minute or so that it'll take for the scrum to pack, they might take a little bit of the sting out of the Cowboys. They're all fired up.
How are the conditions, Bomber? We'll get to Chris Bombalus in a moment. As Jason FERRIS feeds the scrum, comes out and gives it away to Ray Mercy. So now it's the Cowboys' turn to feel a little bit of sting from the Broncos' defence as they move it a couple of passes wide of the ruck. They're not going to take them on right up the middle. Mahon ducked away from one tackle. Now we can get down to Chris Bombalus. Bomber, how are the conditions?
Well, perfect for a game of rugby league here. The conditions, temperatures dropped quite noticeably. No excuses for either side. And I noticed that the Cowboys, their cat's cry all week has been no shortcuts. So I think we're in for a fabulous game of footy.
As Steve Walters kicks out a dummy half. And it bounces to Michael Hancock. Line of chasers there, though. Lockyer was curving away down the touchline.
Well, if Michael Hancock had drawn the winger, I think he could have got to Josh Hannay and maybe put Darren Lockyer away, but he decided to just to play it safe. It's only very early, no risks needed. Great tackle on Darren Smith out wide.
As the Broncos swing it wide, Wendell Sailor steps through the forwards. Kevin Walters out there with a bald head tonight. Shaved it clean. WEBCKE tears into them. Met by a reception committee, LOMAX and SHIPWAY there. SHIPWAY a converted setter, making his mark in the forwards. Want to get away from WEBCKE though. Lee dashes. Makes his 10 metres. Crossing 15 metres into the Cowboys. Half-fifth tackle now. Langer changes side of the ruck and puts the kick down to the fullback Mahon. Well positioned though. Good chase comes through on him. 4 men there.
Only his second match up in the top grade this year. Scott Mahon played a lot of football the rest of the season with the Townsville Stingers in the Queensland Cup competition, but no doubt Tim Sheens has the confidence to put him back at fullback for tonight's match. We'll see how he goes.
Martin Locke hammered back by Thorn and Peter Ryan. Now DUNEMANN slips a pass away. SHIPWAY halfway through, running a nice angle. Walters with a quick play, the ball darts up the middle, another 10, crosses the halfway.
Great yards made there by the Cowboys. Let's see how Jason FERRIS goes with the kick on the short side. In fact, it's a bomb. He's put it back towards the open.
Open spaces. LOCKYER making good ground, though. Well, they picked out open territory for him.
He didn't seem to have the chases. I'm not sure if they all knew about it up the middle of the park, but there would have been plenty of time for someone to get through on the chase. LOCKYER, quick enough to get it on the full, and that's what all fullbacks want to do.
Now TALLIS, one off the ruck. 3 men in the tackle, put him on his back. SHIPWAY clambers over the top of him. Langer, Walters, and quick moving defence coming up on him there. Kyle Warren. CIVONICEVA, tall, lanky. He's driven back.
Well, they're going nowhere, the Broncos. Great defence from the Cowboys. That's the third set of 6 for Brisbane, and they haven't made more than 20 metres with the ball. Peter Ryan there forced to put in a pretty ordinary kick under pressure.
Good chase from DUNEMANN.
Yeah, this is what Tim Sheens would have wanted, just to get in their face and not let them get into try-scoring positions.
The Cowboys starting the game strongly. The crowd right behind them will keep them firing. Out it comes to NADRUKU. He steps away from RENOUF. RENOUF slipped over. TALLIS got him on the inside. Very promising football from North Queensland.
Yeah, it is. That's a great play. That's a good cover too from Gorden TALLIS. NADRUKU did well to step off his right foot and get inside RENOUF, and a nice ball slip there. Pushed the pass in the end, and they've turned it over. Their first mistake of the match.
A fine pass from Locke, but clumsy work from NADRUKU. Shouldn't have forced the pass. So the Broncos back in possession, just on their own side of halfway. HANCOCK playing it. WEBCKE on the charge. He goes underneath them and gets back to his feet. Play on. Still going, WEBCKE. DUNEMANN gets him by an arm. Pass loose. Langer should get to it. Smith does. 30 metres out.
Well, WEBCKE slid in like a bowling ball, didn't he? And knocked the legs out from under Steve Walters. Coming wide now through Kevin Walters.
And TALLIS gets FERRIS right up in his face. Shrugs him off. G already replaced. Lingering on the sideline as Walters puts a kick into the corner. RENOUF chasing, but it's just inside that corner flag. It'll be a scrum.
Lucky bounce there. Kevin Walters aiming that. I'm sure he wanted that to land in the field of play. Perhaps in the in-goal area in the corner. Give them a chance to pin the Cowboys in. Let's have a look at the little kick. He just tried to stab it, but it came off a little bit too hard and has bounced just in the field of play. The scrum to go down. Of course, the Cowboys have the feed.
Just hold it steady.
Bomber wide-head, Andrew G walked to the touchline.
Stay there, Rhino, stay go.
Andrew G getting on, I think, just a spell because of the hectic pace for Shane WEBCKE, so he's taking an early breather, just 6 minutes in.
Now FERRIS darting out, and a good run too. Good ground from that position on the field, clearing it away from the post. Clumsy play the ball though, made Walters slow up. Martin Locke getting very involved in this game early on. Held back, no penalty from McBlane.
Gee, they're lucky there not to get a penalty, but this could be promising out wide. DUNEMANN with a step off his left foot. A nice offload, and Darren Smith has just blocked that pass. Mercy there with some space, just Wendell Sailor to beat.
And played by Warren. LOMAX with the dummy. And he held onto the ball. Looked like he'd lost it for a moment. DUNEMANN puts up the midfield kick once more. Mahon was chasing through, and he's allowed to go for it. Drops it, and Langer gets it.
Come from his hands down to you, Al. No, it has. It's come off his hands down to you. No, feeding him. I'm not.
Oh, Langer disputing that, and don't blame him as Ferris takes the tap. The Broncos had their backs turned to him. Looked like Scott Mahon knocked it back to me. What did you think, Bash?
It did. It looked like that to me and everybody else in the crowd, but Paul McBlane saw it that way. A mistake on the first tackle from Ferris. Maybe justice has been done there, but it was interesting.
Go back. Go in there. Go in there.
No, I know you want to.
Terrible mistake on the first tackle by Ferris.
I didn't see anything need for it. Go on. I'm strong. Hey, Andrew!
So the ball in the scrum from Langer as DUNEMANN waved back by referee McBlane. Oh, fast-moving defence. Ray Mercy racing up on Darren Smith.
Gee, I'll tell you what, they looked like to me like they were inside the 10, but no doubt the coach has given them instructions. Don't give the Broncos any room to move. A little bit too much in the tackle after DUNEMANN had come racing in and cut off Steve RENOUF. A couple of other players helped him in the tackle, and they've just piggybacked the Broncos another 20 metres upfield.
DUNEMANN arguing. He believed he was held. So the Broncos now can settle it down through the forwards. Brad THORN to play it. CIVONICEVA. Cowboys still coming up very quickly. Broncos on halfway. Langer gets it back to TALLIS. Beautifully tackled by DUNEMANN low. Lee out of dummy half. Searching run. SHIPWAY equal to the task in defence. Langer to CIVONICEVA, standing wide. Walters goes low on him. Kyle Warren over the top. Fifth tackle, 40 metres out. Langer, in comes Ferris on the run. Out to RENOUF. RENOUF in space with support either side. Back into Michael Hancock, and it's the first try of the game. Hancock scores it. Running it on the last tackle, the Broncos opened them up down the left-hand side. Steve RENOUF given space to move. Lovely combination with Michael Hancock. 4-0 to the Broncos.
Yeah, nice combination there to finish it, but what about those beautiful hands inside? Langer was marked. Watch this ball from Kevin Walters. Misses out LOCKYER, who was marked up by NADRUKU. Just puts RENOUF in space. He had the option of LOCKYER on the inside or to try to take him on. He did just that, and Michael Hancock ran the perfect line, waited late before he came inside and scored the try. Steve RENOUF in full flight. They're backing off. They're not knowing where to go, and he just pops a nice ball back inside to Michael Hancock. A nice try. It's been great defence until that moment, that first lapse that we've seen from the Cowboys.
Ninth try of the season to Michael Hancock. Hasn't his career resurrected this season? He was down in reserve grade last year and it looked like it might be all over. It looked like he might be shown the door by the club, but he's bounced back in a big way.
Well, you put good players under pressure, don't you, and they respond, and he just had a point to prove in the last couple of seasons, and he's been up there with the best of the Broncos most of the year.
Andrew DUNEMANN, I think it was, raced up out of the line, trying to cut off the kick, and it left a gap out wide. Darren LOCKYER lining up the conversion close to the posts. And the flags are up, successfully converted. LOCKYER having a great year as well. The Broncos lead the Cowboys 6 points to 0.
Well, they had two problems here. They had DUNEMANN rushing up, and they also had HANNAY back for the kick. Kevin Walters saw that, so when Steve RENOUF got the ball, there was no one there, just players backing off. Scott Mahon trying to come across and cover, and eventually Michael Hancock, well, it was a free run to the line from him. Good work from the inside.
We start a play down to Walters, onto CIVONICEVA on the gallop. That try by the Broncos may take the wind out of the Cowboys. They'd started the game in great fashion.
It's a really dangerous time, fifth tackle. Some players tend to just back off a little bit, expecting the kick to come and thinking, well, it's the fullback and the wingers. Others rush out of the line, as we saw. It's their job, but everybody has to be doing the same thing. And unfortunately, on that occasion, DUNEMANN came out of the line and his outside defence just stood there flat-footed.
Lee running effectively from dummy half. He slips away from the diving tackle of Kyle Warren. Langer decides to kick. Again, not waiting till the last tackle. Pilots it down towards that in-goal area. Scott Mahon will have to pick it up. And he's surrounded by a net of Broncos, and TALLIS makes the tackle. 5 players came down and closed around him in a semicircle.
Yeah, it's a good part of their game, isn't it? Their kick chase. They all knew where Langer was aiming, and it was always going to be a tough one for Scott Mahon. He did well just to get back and not try anything fancy. But the thing that Cowboys need to do now is to get further than the 30-metre line or so they can get a kick in. They're going wide. John LOMAX trying to run. They've got to the 20 on the third tackle, but if they don't get good field position, it makes it very hard for their kicker to hoist it downfield.
Warren takes it to the 30. Fifth tackle now. Players spread across the field. DUNEMANN gets another pass away to FERRIS, chased by Kevin Walters. The kick goes straight to Hancock, coming down on the 40, so they only made about 15 metres forward with a kick.
Well, they threw it back 10 metres from the try line, and then the kick didn't go far at all, so straight away Brisbane on the attack. That is not the way to run a set of 6 tackles when you've received the ball from your try line.
Great attacking chance here for the Broncos. 30 metres out. TALLIS to play it. Forwards marshalling themselves. Here comes THORN. Kevin Walters running out into the backs to get set. Langer calls for it. Walters now with runners. CIVONICEVA comes off his shoulder. Back to Walters. Walters still going. Taken by FERRIS, 15 out. Langer. Once again, plenty of runners. He gets it to WEBCKE. Back to Allan. Langer looks for support. Intercepted by the Cowboys. They needed that.
Well, they did need that. You see where Josh HANNAY is. He's 5 metres from his try line, from his post, sorry, and gee, there was 20 metres of space for RENOUF, THORN and Michael Hancock if Langer had got a longer ball away.
Twice we saw the Broncos using little plays with the small men coming around the forwards out wider.
Yeah, well, very hard to stop that pass from CIVONICEVA, and of course WEBCKE, just to stop him dead in a tackle is a difficult proposal.
Ian Roberts ready to come into the game. He'll be lacking in match fitness, but he'll make an impact as LOCKYER gathers in the kick. FERRIS is after him, a good tackle. Finally gets him.
He's been one of the great players of the last decade, Ian Roberts, or longer, and I, for one, looking forward to seeing him out there trying to match it up with some of the young Broncos forwards. Very, very tough man, as Darren Smith shows why he's been rated one of the best players this season. A good run, and now Andrew D down the sideline.
To RENOUF, and RENOUF is away. Hancock back inside again. Floating pass, beautiful pass. Hancock takes it. Copybook try. Oh, what a pass it was. RENOUF put it out in front of his man. Might have been close to forward, but he had to put it out there. Otherwise, the man from the Cowboys getting in between them would have knocked it down. Brilliant pace by RENOUF to make the break initially. Hancock well positioned. Broncos 10-0.
Yes, nice work from Andrew G, but he had some work to do, Steve RENOUF. Had to get the fend away on HANNAY. The cover's coming across, and that ball, well, it may have looked like it floated forward, but it certainly didn't. RENOUF, by the time the ball was in Michael Hancock's hands, Steve RENOUF still in front of it. Mark SHIPWAY just couldn't stay with Hancock. Nice play from down the short side from G. RENOUF sees that Hancock's getting there. He's screaming Michael Hancock. Knows he's too quick for SHIPWAY. He gets over for number 2 under the post. He's might catch up to the other boys tonight if this trend continues.
2 in just a matter of minutes for Michael Hancock. Really positioned himself well. Great understanding the Bronco backs have. Now LOMAX and Jason FERRIS leaving the field. Interchanged. Andrew G moved up beautifully down the blind side in the start of that try as well. Took it off the dummy half. LOCKYER could kick this with his eyes closed. Boots it through and makes it 12-0. All of a sudden, the Broncos are erupting.
Yes, it's all very well having some vigour in defence, but you've got to be able to count numbers and play smart. Andrew G could see that they were short. The extra man on the blind side.
And you mentioned it, Gary, the Cowboys aren't getting out of their own half. Their kicking game has not been effective. They've gone for a couple of midfield bombs, in fact. And on the other hand, the Broncos are driving it deep and pinning them right on the line. Yes,
I'm not sure about those midfield bombs. One thing that the Cowboys do well, if they can get into the Broncos' 30 or 20 metre zone, they're great with the cross-field kicks for their wingers, but so far they've had no good field position to try it.
The Broncos 25 out from their own line. WEBCKE takes them on and gets the pass away to Lee. Now Langer searching, cutting through. Peter Ryan backs him up beautifully, and there's one more. Oh, LOCKYER couldn't get it. Peter Ryan's pass just went astray. Oh, if LOCKYER had got that, it might have been shut the gate.
Well, he had some cover coming, but he's very quick. A great passage to play there. Phil Lee Philly's got beautiful hands, and of course playing at hooker, well, he's just coming around all the time. He slipped a short ball there for Langer, and Langer back inside for Ryan. In this tackle here, he saw that he could get it away, just didn't have a good grip on the ball, and the pass was forward.
Wait there, go!
North Queensland need to hang on to this ball. John Doyle's on the field in the halfback role. 2 handling errors already by the Cowboys. Brisbane making 4 line breaks to 0. Here's NADRUKU. Got halfway through on one occasion. The Broncos seem to be targeting NADRUKU and HANNAY in defence so far. They've come down this left side and got around them pretty easily. DUNEMANN. Through the hands of Doyle. Got support out wide there. FRITZ lurking out there in the centres.
Great sliding defence there. Nice bit of play. The Cowboys looked to have a man over, and Darren Smith slid off of his man and took that player. Steve Walters now backing up, and a bit of a break from him.
Throws a dummy. Now he finds NADRUKU. Off the right foot he goes. Back on. Magic pass to Walters. 10 metres out. Steve Walters handling 2 or 3 times.
Fijian rugby coming out there from Noah NADRUKU. Walters trying to get up and play it.
Oh, the pass comes back to DUNEMANN behind them all, puts it up, coming down near the post. Difficult one for LOCKYER. And who's got it? Scott Mahon claiming a try.
Hey. Sorry? No, he's grounded the ball in the in goal. It's goal line dropout.
The referee. Referee might have been asking Alfie Langer what he thought about it. Let's have a look. There was a mad scramble for the ball. Where has it come down? He mustn't have taken it cleanly, but he certainly has been ruled, Darren Lockyer, to have grounded it in goal, and therefore it's a goal line dropout.
Steve! Paul McBlane saying, what's all the fuss about, but nobody seemed to know. So Doyle takes the drop out, and Ian Roberts brings it back. And you can see the power of him. He lifted Thorn and Ryan off their feet as they took him. Now up the middle goes Locke, slipping it away to Warren. 30 metres out. DUNEMANN. Doyle slotting into the position of FERRIS, at least at the 5/8 spot, with DUNEMANN getting into half. Now here's Locke, crunched, dumped. Strong defence by WEBCKE and G. DUNEMANN goes to the line, chips in the direction of HANNAY. Back it goes to NADRUKU, and NADRUKU, oh, just short. Claims a try though. Video
Coach,
referee.
I'm going to have a look to see if he was in. I don't think there was any problem with grounding the ball, but just check all those little areas.
Was he in play is the big question. I seem to think on the first look that NADRUKU's foot might have just gone out, but beautiful play there from HANNAY. Nicely kicked from DUNEMANN.
Volleyball from HANNAY.
It was great. He knew that he had his man in unmarked inside. Michael Hancock was left one-on-one. HANNAY just got up to it. Hancock was just going to try to tackle him, but he patted it back beautifully. Does he stay in the field of play? Well, he is in there, and that has to be a try. That's beautiful work there for NADRUKU. Gets down as low as he can. Walters can't stop him. Tries to get him out. His feet are not out there, and he's just reached over and put it down. Well, that's a magic piece of work from the big Fijian centre.
Well, he kept his body and the arm carrying the ball up off the ground. Try to North Queensland. They get a reward. And the firecrackers go off. Great work by NADRUKU. I don't think I've ever seen a try scored by a man on all fours short of the line reaching over like that.
It was great work. We talked about the crossfield kick. It is one of their great weapons.
But I don't know that this kick was properly executed. HANNAY was on the fly, and he had to slow up to stay in position, but he realised NADRUKU was there and got it back to him.
So you think it might have come up the side of the foot? Well, it was a beautiful kick. It ended up anyway. Lockyer is trying to get there as well. He's got his hand out. Well, he hasn't been stopped. He's still in progress, and he's just reached over and put it down. That is a classic from Noah NADRUKU. Kevin Walters did everything he could to stop him, but he slid off. And he's just grounded it next to Lockyer's head.
Josh HANNAY from the touchline. Had a good look at it from directly in front at the line to the post. Now he goes around the corner. Difficult one. Is it coming back? It is not enough. hits the pad on the bottom of the post. Still, a try on the board for North Queensland. That'll give them some heart. The Broncos leading 12-4.
Yes, it'll give the crowd a bit of heart as well. Not much doing out there, but of course Steve Renouf in tight. Michael Hancock left with about 20 metres to cover. Kevin Walters read it early and tried to get across, just a little bit too late. And NADRUKU strong enough to stay in and smart enough to put it down.
Of course, it all followed a drop out after they almost scored from the bomb. So they got back at them with the second set. Darren LOCKYER restarts play. High, deep. Well taken down there, and back at them comes John LOMAX. A number of players in this Cowboys side are leaving next year. Quite a few players have been signed for next year. You'd wonder whether that would weaken the spirit in the side, but there's plenty of resolve in what's been produced so far in the game.
Still a few players playing for contracts as well, so that always gets everyone on their toes. This bloke here we spoke about at the start of the match, Steve Walters, his last game here at Malanda, so he's already shown that he's keen to get involved. A couple of good runs.
Scott Mahon pushed away from Walters, couldn't get away from Renouf. Pass behind Roberts. John Doyle covers it up, kicks down to LOCKYER. And John Doyle down there, misses the tackle on LOCKYER, stepped past him, but there was more tacklers in front.
It's a nice swerve, isn't it? You don't want to be facing up to Darren LOCKYER bringing the ball back one-on-one. Kevin Walters now in space.
No winger for him. Michael Hancock and Steve Renouf were deeper. Langer cutting across field and running straight onto it. That was Kevin Campion. He's just come on.
You'll get hold of the jumper. You've got hold of the jumper.
Penalty right in front. Will they go for the two?
Oh, they'd never go for the two in the best of circumstances, so you can bet, yes, Allan Langer's called Phil Lee to tap it. It's play on.
And here's Peter Ryan, just 10 metres out. All of the Broncos on the right side of the field. Away goes Lee. CIVONICEVA buries his head into them. Now they've got more of a wedge shape there. Langer cutting across the ruck. LOCKYER. Well tackled by Kyle Warren. Backs to the wall for the Cowboys. Walters gives it away nicely to Phillip Lee and on to TALLIS. He's close. TALLIS not far away at all. Peter Ryan, in fact, got the pass to him. In the bin.
See ya. Trying to get out. Oh, you won't. John, come here. Come here, Phil. No, come here for a moment. 6. Quiet. Listen, I'll explain to both of you now. Andrew, you crawled all over the top. Don't walk away. Listen, you crawled all over the top of the bloke. I've spoken to you, John. That's the 4th penalty. The 4th time you crawled straight over the top of the bloke. I'm not going to tolerate it. I don't appreciate the back chat neither, so go and spend your 10 minutes. All right? I'm not going to put up with it.
Another tap taken by Phillip Lee. Langer changes direction to CIVONICEVA, and the gap's there for him. He's got that reach. Has he got it there, though?
Well, it's play on.
Play on after all that.
Stopped. I think he was short. No doubt he was short. Nobody from the Broncos jumping up and claiming a try. It's a waste of a penalty there, but they've still down to 10 to 12 men, the Cowboys. That's going to be tough. Let's have a look. He reaches out. Well, he didn't even get to ground it. In fact, it ended up in the arms of one of the Cowboys players. He's lost it forward.
Get up!
So it's North Queensland with the ball, having survived that.
Had one of the Broncos dived on that, I think it would have been a try. I mean, I don't think he lost control. It was actually almost stolen.
Yeah, good point. The crowd want a penalty their way as Roberts loses his footing. Doyle cuts out one, finds Dale FRITZ, once again standing wide. Ray Mercy into dummy half. John Doyle under pressure from Smith. Got a good kick away nevertheless. Wendell Saylor hasn't seen much action tonight. He brings it back looking for a hole. Chris Fombolis.
Crowd is making plenty of noise here on the sideline. You can hardly hear what's going on, but I tend to agree with Gary Belcher as Brisbane go wide again early on the tackle count, and it's Walters looking for support and takes the tackle and loses the ball. But I reckon Brisbane were robbed of a try then, Gary. I think that the Cowboy came over the top and stole the ball from CIVONICEVA. LOCKYER placed his hand on the ball, and I reckon it was a fair try.
May very well have been. Kevin Walters down the sideline here. I think he should have passed this. Decided to throw the dummy. The Cowboys player there, John Doyle, stayed with him, and he's lost the ball in the tackle. We should have given that to Darren LOCKYER. You've got to take a chance on these things, though.
The game starting to open up. Gaps appearing.
Stay there, Peter Ryan, stay, go!
Play swinging from one end to the other, but mainly with the Broncos. Handling errors. I should say missed tackles. 14 by North Queensland.
It's a very, very high missed tackle count so early in a match.
Luke Scott coming off the bench. And the crowd absolutely roaring. You'd think it was a grand final. Josh HANNAY can't get away from TALLIS. LOMAX. Broncos defence pretty tough at the moment. Jason Deeth also coming from the bench. Good burst towards centre field. 5th tackle now. Doyle puts it up high in the direction of Sailor, or will it be LOCKYER's ball? Sailor's going for it and takes it beautifully.
That is a great take from Wendell Sailor. No doubt they've decided to target him, but he's got a lot more confidence as the years progressed under the high ball.
Langer throws a long pass to Hancock. HANNAY's got him marked. And they finally crunch him with NADRUKU helping out.
He decided to go to ground there. Let's have a look at Sailor again. Eyes on the ball all the way. And a good jump over the top of a couple of Cowboys players. Very well done.
Campion. Shipway up around the shoulders. Langer waiting. Plenty of forwards coming off him. In fact, he goes behind them to Walters. And out there is LOCKYER. He breaks away from a tackle. Cowboy injured on the ground. LOCKYER still going. Ray Mercy's hurt.
Came flying in on LOCKYER. He might have hit him on the hip or something.
Oh, Langer's dropped it cold.
Don't go over there.
You don't see that very often.
Yeah, you don't see it too often. It's pretty simple. John played straight pass. He had a bit of a look, Alf. Just deciding what he's going to do after he caught it.
I've called you, I've told you, go!
Well, the crowd give an ironic cheer. They're finally getting the penalty they've been asking the referee for.
Doyle will look for touch. He slotted into that halfback spot well. Brisbane with more handling errors. 4-2. Another chance for the Cowboys. If they can get another 4-pointer here, it will really lift this crowd. Just 10 metres out. Shipway in a dummy half. Looping pass to Doyle. He takes him on himself. Had Roberts coming with him. Scott Mahon dummy half. Bad pass. Taken by Kyle Warren. Comes back to the posts. They lost ground. Jason Deeth this time to dummy half. It's Roberts trying to reach over the top. Gets it back to Shipway. To Deeth. Good ball away to Doyle. Finding some space now. Ray Mercy could be off the Broncos. Yes, 6 more tackles. They don't have to rush it here. Scott Mahon dancing through. Still going.
Well, Steve Reynolds saved a certain try with that knockdown on the Mercy pass. Let's see if the Cowboys can get over the line from here.
Roberts pops it out the back and Deeth just hangs onto it. It's not all that constructive, but they're there. They're only 10 metres out. Mahon has another go at it. Dummies nicely, still going. Very good dummy by Mahon. A couple of them took it. NADRUKU sends it out to Doyle. To LOMAX, coming back into the forwards and going through. There's NADRUKU! Noah NADRUKU's done it again. Strong running from the Fijian. He just blasted through them. The Broncos 12, North Queensland 8 with a kick to come.
Yes, and great lead-up work. They've thrown it all over the place. Looked a little bit unorganised at times, but they managed to hang on to the football long enough to finally get over the line. He was looking for him all the way. What a great ball there from LOMAX. That's why they've re-signed him. Very constructive with the football in his hands, and NADRUKU just gets down low as soon as he can to put it over the line.
Second try of the game to NADRUKU.
Well, they showed if they can get some continuity with the ball. There was that knockdown from RENOUF on about the 3rd or 4th tackle. They got 6 tackles again. Both times they've done that now, they've had a repeat set of 6, they've scored.
They're keeping the ball alive. They're throwing it out the back, determined to get the ball through the hands. It doesn't look all that pretty, but it's doing the job eventually. I guess if you keep it alive long enough, you're going to keep beating tackles and maybe get to the line.
Well, we saw Ian Roberts do it twice, lay the ball back in tackles, and Scott Mahon got very involved in that set as well.
Josh Hannay missed with his first attempt, but not by far from the sideline. This is 15 metres closer to the posts. Oh, he's hooked it. Pulled it right across to the right-hand side. That wasn't a good kick. Score remains 12-8 to Brisbane.
Well, let's remember the Cowboys are down to 12 men, but LOMAX back on the inside here. He doesn't care about the numbers. He's just looking for NADRUKU. His second try of the evening has got him back in the match.
The Broncos know that this game is not going to be handed to them on a platter. The Cowboys started the game strongly, gave away a couple of tries, but then come firing back. LOCKYER kicks deep.
That's the trouble for Brisbane when they went to that 12-0 lead. Sometimes you can sense that it's going to be maybe a romp, but that's not what the Cowboys had planned. They've clawed their way back in. They haven't been particularly pretty, but they're doing the job.
Bomber.
Well, news from the Cowboys bench is that Luke Scott popped the shoulder. He's getting it iced at the moment and a bit of treatment. He hopefully will be back into the game, but that's not good news for them, although they'd be buoyed by the news that they are back in the game at 12-8.
As John Doyle slips a pass inside for SHIPWAY, can't hang on to it, and Michael Hancock's got it for the Broncos. Runs into Mahon. Mahon's supposed to be playing at fullback, but he's everywhere tonight. WEBCKE gets it to Langer, following him through. Now it's THORN. John Platt stands in the centre of the field, looks left, Langer's on his right.
Kevin Mulder's looking for something here.
Goes back to RENOUF. HANNAY sliding. Hancock opens him up inside again. The defence from the inside got him this time. SHIPWAY and Hancock fighting to get to his feet as usual. Walters, Campion, nicely onto Peter Ryan. And he keeps it alive. Quick hands, Walters. Langer. LOCKYER 5 metres out. Beautifully tackled by Mahon. The Cowboys on the far side calling for defence. Platt has a go himself. Gets it back and it's dropped by Campion. He couldn't hang on to it. A little low. Well, Peter Ryan, that is.
Yeah, John Platt taking a chance there from dummy half on the last tackle. They were screaming out on the right for the football, but the Cowboys were all alert to that. A great set of 6 in defence there. A couple of holes opened up, but they really did well to plug the holes. Just forced that error there with a nice tackle on Platt.
Deep, who has settled into the dummy half position for the Cowboys.
I think he's hurt there. Peter Ryan calling for attention. And the handling errors, Brisbane still leading by a couple, 5, as against the Cowboys only 3. That's where they're leading the game, isn't it? 6 line breaks and a lot of missed tackles we've seen as well from the Cowboys. Brisbane have carved them up on a few occasions.
Andrew DUNEMANN coming back from the sin bin. Spent 10 minutes there for back chatting. Well, not so much for the back chat as initially holding on in the tackle. Professional foul. This is Jason Deep, hit hard.
It's a leg injury.
WEBCKE, the first man into the tackle.
Yeah, it's his left ankle. Let's just have a look. His ankle is underneath Shane WEBCKE, and that's a bit of a force and a bit of a weight to have landing on top of you.
Well, he looks like he'll be right to continue. Plays it okay. Doyle turns it inside to SHIPWAY. That's the move they tried a moment ago, and the ball was put down. Almost worked that time. Doyle kicks down the sideline. LOCKYER on the fingertips. Taken by Doyle and loses it. Back goes NADRUKU and picks it up. Darren LOCKYER, first tackle.
Well, that's got him in a bit of bother, hasn't it? 40 metres out. The Cowboys deep, looking to go very wide to DUNEMANN. In fact, elects to hold on to it. Some short passing now.
Out to FRITZ. Takes the tackle. Almost wonder whether the Broncos aren't getting caught up in the excitement of the atmosphere here from the crowd. They're making a few uncharacteristic mistakes.
That could be a costly one. Darren LOCKYER, nothing happening there. He was just taking the tackle and the ball's popped out. If they score within the next few minutes, I guess he'll be feeling pretty bad at half-time.
Doyle flinging the pass to HANNAY. 40 metres out. Doyle goes wide to the left this time. FERRIS keeps it going to DUNEMANN. Ray Mercy now on the fly, but beautifully tackled by Darren Smith.
Yeah, very organised out there, the Broncos. The moment they saw the ball coming wide, they had plenty of players. Nice little offload there from COOREY.
On to Deep, backing him up. They're 20 metres out. Fifth tackle. FERRIS puts the kick into the corner. Here comes HANNAY. HANCOCK's back and carries it over the goal line, I thought. And yes, it will be a goal line dropout.
Gee, that's nicely placed, isn't it? Because it landed in the field of play and HANCOCK had to get up and catch it, well, they've just dragged him over. And that's this repeat set of 6 we're talking about. It makes any side dangerous. HANCOCK's in the field of play when he jumps and just gets pushed over the line by his opposite man.
Well, they've kicked to that side. They came up with a try once. This time they get a dropout, which is an equally good result, or almost as good.
If the kick's well placed, you're in trouble anyway. I mean, even if you manage to stay in the field of play, you're in the corner with 6 tackles to go. So it's a tough play for any side.
Scott Mahon thunders back at them and he leaves RENOUF behind. RENOUF slowly to his feet, looks a little shaken. SHIPWAY to DUNEMANN, skirting wide, and up the middle goes FERRIS. We've got plenty of ball players in this side, the Cowboys. Deeth works the angle with LOMAX.
Well, that should have been 6 again. It was knocked down by a Bronco, but the referee hasn't seen it.
Might have thought he knocked his arm rather than the ball. Deeth to DUNEMANN. Gives it to LOCKE. Deeth again. DUNEMANN once more. Looking for a hole, but it wasn't there. Ray Mercy takes on Smith. Shoved him away. Looking back inside, but they're over the sideline. Mercy got his pass back into COOREY, but they knocked him over the sideline.
It was good work from Mercy, wasn't it? He shrugged off Darren Smith for the first time tonight. He goes in and away, gives a bit of a fend and pushes him off, gets outside of Sailor and manages to slip a nice ball in, but Smith recovered in time to take, I think it's Michael COOREY over the sideline, it was.
Good effort by Smith. He didn't just lay on the deck and rue the missed tackle. He got up and made a good one. Now LOCKYER up the blind side. A couple of minutes till half-time. The Broncos leading by 4. Sailor.
Crucial time now for the Cowboys to keep the Broncos within reach. Just that 4-point break, of course, if they score and convert, 10 points isn't too much, but you'd rather it be nice and close at half-time.
Langer goes back to TALLIS up the blind side. Possession favouring the Cowboys, 54% of the ball. G in centre field. Great tackle. SHIPWAY swept up on him. Langer decides to kick. Down to Scott Mahon. A couple of minutes left. A good set here for the Cowboys. Deeth in a dummy half has recovered from that injury okay. Now it's LOCKE. Pops it away to Luke Scott.
They've managed to do that a few times late in this half, haven't they? Stand in tackles and offload.
Actually, that's SHIPWAY, and that's a bad play, the ball. LOMAX gets it away.
What a pick up there, Jason Deeth.
FRITZ to FERRIS. DUNEMANN claps on the pace. NADRUKU does so the same. Opens them up. Look at him go, NADRUKU. The pass has gone nowhere, though. Has LOCKYER knocked it on? No, referee McBlane says play it.
Well, he tried to pop that over the top. In fact, NADRUKU just trying to find HANNAY, but couldn't manage. What a great bit of play there. Nice ball from FERRIS before it got out wide. Andrew G now flat-footed.
Really wasn't a good attempted pass by NADRUKU here.
Well, let's have a look at it here. Just gets to Michael HANCOCK. Knows that HANCOCK has to stay on his man, so throws the dummy. He's just trying to get it inside the ball. In fact, Michael HANCOCK stopped that pass. They're in some trouble there, the Broncos.
THORN has it for the Broncos. Brisbane still with more handling errors. Here's Langer hunting up the middle and finds support. Shane WEBCKE, 40 metres out. 30 seconds to go in the half. Platt motoring. Bad pass, but it's picked up by Smith. Puts a kick ahead. LOCKYER giving chase. DUNEMANN underneath it. Ball on the ground went back from the Broncos. but the Cowboys have it.
Good work, DUNEMANN, to get back. He knew they were in trouble, and Mahon was there as well. Just trying to waste some time with Well, says he has a knee injury. Maybe he has.
Well, he's a good actor if he hasn't.
We'll find out. We'll see when they play the ball how he recovers. I think he looks all right. Well, LOCKYER almost had that, but just went to ground behind him, and there's the half-time siren.
Not a dull moment in that 40 minutes. Stirring football from both teams. North Queensland bounced out of the blocks, ready to take on the Broncos well and truly tonight. The Broncos exploited some loose defence down the left-hand side to score a couple of tries, with RENOUF combining and HANCOCK there to score. Scott Mahon having a good game as well. But at half-time, the Broncos have the lead. It's 12 points to 8.
Harvey Norman, everyone's a winner. You can win up to $250 cash back with any purchase over $250 from our electrical department. This 59cm LG remote control stereo TV, great value at $799. From Samsung, a 68cm AV stereo TV, a low $995. Pay $1695 for this Phillip 68cm stereo TV with teletext, save $200. Go to the movies with a Panasonic rear projection 130cm stereo TV for $5,995. That's $1,000 off. What a deal, up to $250 cash back. Limited offer, so hurry.
Tuesday night at 7:30.
Who could believe it?
Host Terry Kennedy.
I'll tell you what, it was on for the young and old.
With Steve Blogger-Roach.
I tipped about 3 from 10.
Mario Fennick.
Anyone that said they tipped 10 from 10, they're lying.
And Gary Belcher.
Does the video ref know all the rules there?
Along with special guests.
It's pretty good from my angle here. I can't see any of you blokes. It's a lot better for me.
Live and uncensored.
Can we say that on this show?
The Rugby League Weekly Roundup with all the comment and controversy in NRL Winners live. Tuesday night at 7:30 on Sports Australia.
Welcome to Major League Baseball.
Another big hit.
Oh, man.
Monday, it's Russ Ortiz and the San Francisco Giants up against an Atlanta Braves outfit starting to make some noise. Major League Baseball, live Monday morning from 10 on ESPN.
Imagine a dishwasher that had not one, but 2 completely independent drawers. So you could set one for fragile items, the other for heavy. Or use one for breakfast dishes, the other for dinner. So you could empty one, while the other's still washing. Even install them separately. The Dish Drawer Quantum Project from Fisher & Paykel, the innovators.
Welcome back to Malanda Stadium in Townsville. The Cowboys fans had plenty to cheer about in the first half. They might be down, but they're far from out in this game, giving a fighting account of themselves. Still a mathematical chance of making the final 10, though I don't think there's too much money on their backs in this game. But playing good football, 2 tries apiece. 12 points to 8 in favour of the Broncos. 2 tries to Michael Hancock, converted by Darren LOCKYER from close to the post. Noah NADRUKU scoring 2 strong tries, and Josh HANNAY missing with his 2 attempted conversions. More difficult kicks than LOCKYER's, but that's the difference. 12 points to 8.
Yeah, and if you bought tickets in the main grandstand, you'd be happy. 4 tries and all scored down that side. Of course, 2 each. Very entertaining match. It looked like it might have got away from the Cowboys early, but it didn't. And here's the statistics. Of course, the Cowboys have had a little bit more football. I think really late in the half that happened. Early in the match, it was all the Broncos. But the difference there, the main difference for my money, is in the missed tackles. 19 by the Cowboys, 8 by the Broncos. That's an ominous sign. If they don't fix that up, they'll get run over in the second half.
You can actually see that possession slightly favoured the Cowboys, but possession in the opposition half slightly favoured the Broncos. So they had their chances, both teams.
Yeah, they did. It was a great half of football, wasn't it? I just like the way the Cowboys showed some spirit to fight their way back in. It looked like the floodgates may open early, but it certainly didn't happen that way.
Michael Hancock scored the first try, combining with Steve RENOUF down the left-hand side.
Yeah, this was just a great hands here from a couple of players. You'll just see from just after this play.
As Kevin Walters getting into dummy half and through the hands, or is this the try? Anyway, here's CIVONICEVA. The last tackle, they run it back this time. Here it comes.
Yeah, they do. Great hands now. They're
running it on the last.
FERRIS, in fact, it was that came out of the line. DUNEMANN came up as well. Kevin Walters saw some space out wide. RENOUF decided to take the two players towards the sideline, and Michael HANCOCK at the last minute came inside, beautifully timed for a try near the posts. And that was the first time, really, the Cowboys had cracked in the match.
Pinpoint accurate passing from the Broncos. They always hit their man, don't they? Michael HANCOCK got the second as well. Once again, Steve RENOUF was the man who sent him away. Phillip Lee finds Andrew G charging up alongside him, and there's RENOUF just getting outside Josh HANNAY, who had a handful, and HANCOCK inside. Beautiful pass.
Yeah, they both read, Lee and G, both read that there was they were a man short, the Cowboys, on that short side, and if you get it to RENOUF, more often than not, he'll make a break. He did, and of course, Michael HANCOCK just backing up once again, gets over for his second. G just had to draw his man. RENOUF too good there for Josh HANNAY. He had to make that tackle, HANNAY, and didn't come up with it. And then Michael HANCOCK running onto a beautifully timed pass, skips over under the post, and of course Darren LOCKYER converted for that 12-0 lead.
Josh HANNAY picked in the centres last week, on the wing tonight, but he has been caught out in defence, and his positioning just a little shaky.
Well, yeah, not just that as well. He was left short there, particularly on that occasion. If you haven't got the numbers there, you've got to come in and make a decision, and unfortunately he didn't complete the tackle.
12-0 to the Broncos, but back came the Cowboys through. NADRUKU playing a strong game. NADRUKU, he almost made a couple of breaks before this. This kick from Andrew DUNEMANN in the direction of HANNAY.
Yeah, just not much happening there, was there? They hadn't enough numbers there, the Broncos, but beautifully batted back. And you see it took a while, but his momentum wasn't stopped. He wasn't held. He slides in here in the Kevin Walters tackle. LOCKYER tries to stop him as well, but he stays in the field of play and plants the ball. That is a totally legal try.
I still wonder whether that kick should have been, or is intended to be, a little deeper, but HANNAY made the most of it.
Well,
did everything he could with it.
Yeah, you take your luck. You don't always have as much luck, and of course...
And then the Cowboys scored another one. Again, it was NADRUKU. They kept it alive, going through the hands, and what a great piece of work it was by John LOMAX. He really showed some power here.
Plenty of ball movement. It wasn't in the lead up to this. They would have had 8 or 9 tackles. And NADRUKU just hanging off the shoulder of his skipper. LOMAX with that nice short pass helped him get over, and they are well back in the match.
Tim Sheens laying down the law in the Cowboys dressing room. He'll be telling them, we're in this, boys. Let's go on with it. 40 more minutes. We can knock off the Broncos.
Yeah, very important time for them, isn't it? Not only playing for pride, as you said, there is that mathematical chance slightly that they'll make it. I don't think they will, even if they win all 3. However, some players playing for contract, it is an important time.
They're all listening. We'll be back for more action in just a moment.
Harvey Norman, everyone's a winner. You can win up to $250 cash back with any purchase over $250 from our electrical department. This 59cm LG remote control stereo TV, great value at $799. From Samsung, a 68cm AV stereo TV, a low $995. Pay $1695 for this Philips 68cm stereo TV with teletext, save $200. Go to the movies with a Panasonic rear projection 130cm stereo TV for $5,995. That's $1,000 off. What a deal, up to $250 cash back. Limited offer, so hurry.
Tomorrow night, all the entertainment and variety is right here on Optus Vision at 8:30 on Movie 1. Shirley MacLaine, Juliette Lewis and Jack Nicholson.
Surrounded by the most taxing array of lunatics.
The Australian television premiere season of The Evening Star at 7:30 on the Disney Channel.
Couple of weirdos.
Return from Witch Mountain.
That's the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
At 8 on MTV, Oasis play Unplugged.
Maybe I don't really want to know.
At 9 on TNT, Judy Garland.
We must be over the rainbow.
Lost in a world full of the magical and the wicked on the classic Wizard of Oz. At 9:30 on Odyssey's Human Circus. No sex, no violence, no news.
Politically safe TV is the key to China's massive consumer market.
At 11 on ESPN, the Australian Smiths Boomers challenge Japan on Australian basketball. And remember to check your Optus Vision guide for further details about tomorrow's viewing.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. We love the Eagles, we love the Magpies, we love the Bulldogs, we love the Bears, we love the Roosters, we
Welcome back. If the second half is as exciting as the first, we're in for a great game of football here. The underdogs, the Cowboys, going with the Broncos in the first half. The Broncos leading 12 points to 8. 2 tries apiece, though. The Broncos have plenty to play for. They're aiming for a minor premiership, which will give them a week off to heal the injuries leading into the finals. The Cowboys plenty to play for as well. Unlikely they'll be in the final 10, but always playing for pride, playing for contracts, playing to impress, and playing for this home crowd, which is giving them tremendous support. Ian Roberts seeing a little bit of action in the first half. He's coming out to start the second after a long time out with firstly a fractured thumb and then a strained hamstring. Great to see him on the paddock. Steve Walters had plenty of influence on the first half as well, playing strongly. You can see him there geeing up his players. Noah NADRUKU, 2 tries in the first 40 minutes. Referee Paul McBlane gets the second half underway. LOCKYER elects for a different style of kick this time, shorter and wider.
I'm just flicking through the North Queensland Cowboys team there to try to come up with who their best players have been. And gee, there have been some good players in their forward pack, as you mentioned, LOMAX and Walters, and the halves have gone very well. NADRUKU already is looking at a bit of space out wide. They have to stay in the field of play, and they do so. Good ball back inside from HANNAY.
HANNAY did well then to keep it in play on the halfway. DUNEMANN got a bad pass that slowed him up, has to take the tackle. They're stretched right across the field, North Queensland. Walters goes down the blind side. A good motoring 15 metres. Last tackle now. Andrew DUNEMANN puts it up high. The chasers are coming through, plenty of them too, but whoa, great take. Great take by Sailor for the second time in the game.
Great take, and I'll tell you what, without that hand of Ray Mercy hanging onto his jersey, Wendell Sailor was gone for an 85-metre try. A bit of feeling there from Sailor and Mercy. Just have a look at this take, and he's gone for all money, but Mercy just manages to hang on. There was no one in front of him. It would have been a spectacle there for the crowd to see him racing away. I don't think anyone would have caught him.
A half break by John Platt. They just stopped him as well. 10 metres inside North Queensland's half. Platt to TALLIS. Writhing around in the tackle, trying to twist away from them.
Gee, they've been in his face tonight, though, haven't they? They haven't let Gorden TALLIS have more than a couple of metres every time he's had the ball. Langer now giving some Cowboys back some of their own medicine with a high kick, and nicely taken by Mahon, but
penalty to the Broncos.
One of them was taken out, I believe. Chasing through, you'll see there, Paul McBlane indicating someone was elbowed out of the way.
Here's the kick from Langer. Let's see if we can see someone. Oh, just a little bit of an elbow there from NADRUKU by the look of it, as the Broncos took the tap, and CIVONICEVA 10 metres out.
They're looking out, they're fairly deep on the left-hand side of the field, goes through Langer.
Goes deep, and Platt is out there. And he's muscled to ground. DUNEMANN, SHIPWAY the tacklers. Langer. TALLIS heads across field, getting himself a little diagonally to the defence, though.
He's gone diagonally back towards his own goal line there. They pushed him back about 10 metres.
Oh, WEBCKE hit by Roberts. And Roberts comes in at him again, goes low the second time.
Good to see Ian Roberts getting way up involved in all the tough stuff. That's how he likes it, renowned for that.
Now Langer puts a kick to Scott Mahon, just in the field of play. That didn't worry him at all. Not a good kick from Langer. And a good run back by Scott Mahon.
Yeah, chased by Peter Ryan, a little bit of a goose step. It's too quick for him. Let's see if they can get as many yards as they did in that first set of 6. The Cowboys, they got way into the Broncos half from the kickoff.
Michael COOREY plays it. They go the blind side. Martin Locke. And let's go down to Chris Bombolas.
Well, some big hits early in the second half. Joining me is Murray Hurst from the Cowboys. Tim Sheens, what do you have to say to the boys at half-time?
Well, Chris, we were fairly happy with the first half as far as what we'd set out to do, and forcing a few errors and probably meeting them on the advantage line and even further, so we achieved that.
The commitment and spirit, you can't complain about that.
No, that's right. You know, we've had a few disruptions during the week, and you know, obviously a few losses in the past weeks, but the spirit is certainly there tonight.
Down 12-0 and then to get it back to 12-8, obviously pleasing coming into the match with 40 minutes to go.
Exactly. You know, we still have a few people fresh, actually. A couple of forwards in the first half only had 6 and 7 minutes, so the second half we can't complain if we run out of petrol.
And Murray, I noticed Get Square was also put up in the dressing room. Was that for the 58-4 thrashing at ANZ? You want some revenge?
Get Square is just a normal club call, actually, Chris, but yeah, in the dressing room there.
All right, well, I'll let Murray Hurst get back to the action. It's starting to hot up a bit out there in the middle. Brisbane coach Wayne Bennett, he wanted his boys ball control. I think they need to use a bit of self-control out there at the moment. Ian Roberts, Wendell Saylor having plenty to say to each other. He said don't force the passes and to be patient. So I think there's a few players that need to be patient here at the moment.
It's all right, it's all right. I know that. You just stand there. I'll speak to you in a minute. I know what's happened, all right? But please, when I ask them to stay apart, I expect you as well, okay? Listen, every time you go up and play the ball all day, you're getting up pushing and shoving. Back off! Back off! Listen, leave that crap to me, or you're going to spend time over there. If you do it once more, that's what I'm going to do, and you know I'll do it, all right? Cut it out. Speak to him, Al. Speak to him, get him fixed up. Just don't leave it alone. Right?
Ian Roberts, absolutely ropeable. He wanted to tear Wendell Saylor apart for something in that last tackle.
It's a dangerous ploy, this. Wendell Saylor gets up and puts one on Ian Roberts. Or there may just be a push, may not be a punch. But it's a dangerous thing to do. He's a very hard man, Ian Roberts. No, Wendell can hold him up as well, but referee Paul McBlane made a good point. Wendell's been involved in a couple of things after he's played the ball today, and he should just stay right out of that.
Roberts still having a few words to say. He was being calmed down by DUNEMANN. In the first half, it was the other way around. Now they've decided to go for the 2 points here, the Cowboys. They've got the penalty kick right in front, 20 metres out, and HANNAY's going to have a shot.
Yes, wise decision this. They're only 4 points behind. It should be a gift, 2 points for the young winger. He missed a relatively easy one and a tough one earlier in the match, but it should be quite simple.
It's one that he really needs to land. They don't want to lose confidence in him as a kicker. Concentrating hard. It looks good from the boot. The flags are up. 2 more points to the Cowboys. They close the gap to 2 points. 12 points to 10 now to the Broncos.
Have another look at this. Wendell Saylor takes the ball up. A couple of players in there. Roberts comes over the top just to hold him down a little bit longer. Saylor just trying to fight. That's what got him riled up. He was trying to fight his way up, but he certainly put one on Ian Roberts there.
No justification for Saylor at all. So the Cowboys, they have a sniff here. Can they get in front, though? That's the question. Ray Mercy making a good fist of the centre tonight. Walters dummy half. FERRIS. DUNEMANN. Out to NADRUKU. He's been a worry all night for the Broncos defence. RENOUF just gets to him this time. Roberts wanted it. Instead it goes out to Martin Locke through the hands. It's 40 metres out. DUNEMANN has a go at it himself. CIVONICEVA got him from the inside. Last tackle now. FERRIS puts it up high in the direction of HANCOCK. It might not reach him. It's left to the Cowboys. SHIPWAY goes over the top to HANNAY. He's got to get rid of it, though. And that's the last tackle.
And 3 Broncos players in there on HANNAY, knowing it's the last. They had to lock it up, and they did that. It's very dangerous, that bomb, isn't it? They put a couple up early in the first half that weren't that well placed. But that one they managed to come back up with.
CIVONICEVA flat-footed this time as he hits it up.
There's only 2 points difference, of course. Brisbane have got a fair bit of work ahead of them if they want to get into a safety zone, and I can't see that happening in a hurry. They're right up in their face, the Cowboys.
Brad Thorn plays it. Phillip Lee dashes away. He has support coming up from WEBCKE, but he slipped over.
Roberts needs to get off him. Langer kicks. Sailor may be offside as he chases downfield. Mahn's got plenty of room anyway to move. Brings it back strongly. He's enjoying himself, Scott Mahon, tonight. He hasn't liked playing down in the Queensland Cup. He wants to be up there in the NRL.
Yeah, he's really been involved, hasn't he? He may have only made the one blunder or a little blue, but apart from that, he's really got involved. Lots of talk from the back in defence that's helped their cause as well after that bit of a sus start when they let 2 tries in.
Fair bit of emotion out there between these two teams. Anger being shown. Walters takes on Lee, tramples over the top of him. Strength in his legs. FERRIS, DUNEMANN going wider. Tackled nicely by RENOUF. NADRUKU to Mahon, kicking down a narrow angle. Well placed all the same. And LOCKYER will have to get out of there. Mahon can't make the tackle. LOCKYER escapes, comes upfield, steps past 3 or 4.
Oh, that's a magnificent run, isn't it, from Darren LOCKYER. Scott Mahon did everything right, a beautifully placed kick that, well, he just couldn't keep LOCKYER in there. One-on-one with a bit of space to move. He's hard to stop. Just look at Scott Mahon. He's the only chaser initially.
And NADRUKU's been hurt. I think he misses a tackle and gets hurt.
Let's have a look. He comes across and tries to get LOCKYER. Well, what he's done, well, he's been taken out by DUNEMANN and may have come up with an injury to his leg. I think he has. He's almost dragging himself off the field on the other side.
As John Plath finds a little bit of room, LOCKYER dances back inside. Now Lee cuts them open. Phillip Lee comes down to it. Scott Mahon looks inside, goes himself, still going. Gets the pass back. The Broncos through Hancock, a loose pass. Came off RENOUF on the ground, dived on by the Broncos. Knocked on, says the referee, both ways.
Well, I think you'll find the initial one was from the Cowboys.
Yeah, feed to the Broncos.
You saw a little knock on there late. You just see this. Nice work here from Lee. He skips back on the short side. Shows a bit of speed there as well. Dummies back inside. Manages to beat Mahon, but he gets back to Hancock. He's in trouble, Mick Hancock, so he just rolls it back along the ground. There's the initial knock on from the Cowboys. And I think Alfie Langer may have just fumbled there in trying to control it.
So the Broncos win the scrum, just 20 metres out, and it's John Plath playing at 5'8". Kevin Walters not on the field. Brad Thorn motoring strongly, still going. Great run from Thorn, nearly went all the way. Smith fires it to Langer. Was waiting to throw the long pass, but DUNEMANN was up on Plath. Just 10 metres out, the Broncos. LOCKYER, Plath, inside TALLIS. Well read in defence, though. DUNEMANN made the tackle low. Now it's WEBCKE's turn. And he's taken by SHIPWAY. Roberts over the top.
Plenty of numbers there. The Cowboys, they're defending bravely, aren't they? Hanging on.
Great defence.
See if Langer puts it on the ground this time.
Last tackle. Langer puts it up high. Scott Mahon comes across. Up they go. And the Cowboys have it through Mahon. Almost confusion, though, as COOREY came into the picture as well as a fullback tried to take it.
And COOREY, in fact, got his hands to the ball. It bounced back, and Mahon was there to cover up. Couldn't get into the field of play, and looks like he may be hurt.
Saw ribs, Scotty? Thought so.
Scott Mahon hurt in taking that bomb.
There's also the sides getting a bit of a breathing space as well. You see there, COOREY goes up, it comes straight into the arms of Mahon. A little bit fortunate, but you have to be in the right position to catch those. It was well placed. COOREY did everything right apart from hang on to the ball, and Mahon just couldn't manage to stop being dragged back. Good effort from Andrew G. Gets a pat from his winger, Wendell Sailor.
I think Scott Mahon has copped Andrew G's knee accidentally to the ribs.
I think the referee, in fact, said that to the trainer, he thought he may have saw ribs when he noticed that player injured. He saw it.
He's had a fine game, Mahon. What a great run this was.
Yeah, Brad Thorn almost got there. He took a few players with him too, didn't he? They were just hanging on for grim death. Martin Locke trying to stop him. They can't stop that great leg drive that he's got.
Mahon back on his feet, looks okay, but he'll be sore tomorrow.
And now the Cowboys' defence, which survived the last set so gallantly, will have to do it again. The Broncos don't get held out 2 in a row very often.
Well, fortunately, they've had a couple of minutes break, so it's not as bad as it would be normally if they'd immediately had the ball turned over to them once again.
WEBCKE's lost the ball. It wasn't stripped, says the ref.
Right? Look.
I don't think he's very happy, Shane WEBCKE.
I think you're right. He reckons the ball was ripped out of his hands. Let's see. He goes down in the tackle there of Ian Roberts. Walters and SHIPWAY are involved as well. And, well, I'm not sure whether it was ripped out or not. Hard to tell. The referee's made the ruling, and it's play on now to the Cowboys. First tackle.
Still, the atmosphere here is just extraordinary. This wall of noise from the crowd around the 30,000 mark. 30,250, the official figure. 12 points to 10 to the Broncos. FERRIS, Mahon. Well, he does look like he's recovered from that rib injury. Walters. FERRIS. Jason FERRIS showing plenty of courage. He'll take on the forwards. Hands pointing in the air from John Doyle. And here it goes. Charge down. Peter Ryan put the pressure on. FERRIS dives back on it. 6 more tackles.
Oh, great work from FERRIS. Used the shoulder to push Darren Smith out of the way. Fair play, that is.
Now COOREY.
They needed that, didn't they? They've been under a bit of pressure, the Cowboys. Now the chance to get back and put it back on the Broncos. John Lomax going sideways. John Plath up to the task. Takes him to ground.
DUNEMANN looks inside. John Doyle coming up and well tackled.
Roy just telegraphed that a little bit, didn't he, DUNEMANN? See him waiting for the inside player, and Peter Ryan was there ready to accommodate.
He's lost it.
Oh, there's a mistake.
Ian Roberts has lost it. There's John Doyle, upended. There's more trouble here. There's been some fire out there all night. Andrew G being pulled back. In fact, he's being wrestled back by a number of the Cowboys. Steve Walters in there too.
A little bit of blood coming off Steve Walters' chin.
Made my decision. It's a knock on. Andrew G. Yeah. That's what started it. Hey? He started, you started. Both of you go and have a rest. Go on. Serious.
Steve Walters seems to think he's been wronged by the decision. Andrew G takes his 10 minutes, so does Steve Walters in the end. Both losing blood.
It started with a knock-on in the tackle here. Ian Roberts wasn't very happy. He says the ball was ripped out. Well, no, I think he's lost that, looking to maybe offload it. And from there, a bit of a fracas from Walters and G. Has them both in the bin for 10 minutes.
Well, look at this defence. It's wild and woolly out there at the moment. Roberts complaining as he swings LOCKYER to the ground. Spread eagle LOCKYER. Now TALLIS goes in amongst them. Bomber, what's happening on the sideline?
Well, we can feel the atmosphere here. The pressure for Paul McBlane must be unbearable at the moment. The players are really starting to try and test his patience. 2 in the bin at the moment. As the ball comes out wide to Smith, back inside to Sailor.
And he's got Smith with him. He gives it back, and Darren Smith is sprinting for the corner. John Doyle comes at him, can't get him, and Smith scores the try. Darren Smith scoring a fine try with some cool heads there amongst all the other players who are losing theirs. Gorden, TALLIS, strong work from him to get the pass away, and then Darren Smith combining beautifully. Sprinting away for an important 4 points.
Yeah, that should take a little bit of the sting out of the fired-up Cowboys. They're really taking it to them. You just see Gorden TALLIS goes to them off that Langer pass. Manages to stand. Smith's on the outside. Sailor backing up inside. Just has to draw his man. Lomax was never going to hot-foot it there with Darren Smith. Neither was Kyle Warren, and Smith gets, well, a little bit closer to the post. That's his number 20 for the season, so he's well and truly in the lead as far as the try scoring goes. Beautiful work from TALLIS. 2-on-1 here. The same thing again. Both players did it beautifully. Sailor just drew his man put the ball right on Smith's chest. Well, we've had fire and brimstone 1 minute, and then the Broncos just opening up a bit of a lead now on the Cowboys.
Darren Smith having a whale of a season, leaving the Broncos next year, but plants his 20th try. The Broncos have got 4 of the top 12 try scorers. It's quite extraordinary. 4 of the top 12 in the competition. This is an important kick for Lockyer. 16-10 the score. And it's going to be there. It's through. Just snuck inside the upright. Gives the Broncos an 8-point lead. A 2-point buffer zone there. That was great play by TALLIS because there was a lot of fire and aggression happening, but he kept his head, despite the fact he was going just as strongly, kept his mind on the job.
He did well. He pulled a couple of players in, and I guess those players for the Cowboys are all very keen to get in and make some good hits and try to keep up with the fire that have been in their bellies. But if you leave too many players unmarked, you're going to be in trouble with this Broncos side.
Well, the fire's still out there, you can feel it, and here's Wendell Saylor spinning out of a tackle and racing upfield. Great run from Saylor. Takes it to the 40-metre mark. Peter Ryan steps away from one. They're fired up, the Broncos, look at them go. Phillip Lee.
Great ball there from Ryan, well done Phillip Lee. Could have pushed it past, but decided to hang on. They've still got a few tackles left in this one. And
TALLIS gets free, RENOUF down the touchline, across comes the cover, oh, they can't get him! They can't stop Steve RENOUF. The Broncos score 2 tries in 2 minutes, and suddenly bolt away to a good lead. Just when it looked like the Cowboys were in the thick of the action, the Broncos turn it on, and Steve RENOUF escapes down the touchline.
Well, I thought Gorden Tallis was having a quiet game until about 2 minutes ago, and here he goes again, setting up another one. Just goes sideways, 2-on-2, gets to the winger and just sees Steve RENOUF coming down the outside. RENOUF with 1 man to beat. Kyle Warren it is, and he just goes to Warren, tries it in and away, and he's just too strong. Warren tries to go ball and all. He might have been better off going around the legs. There was no support there for Steve RENOUF. Just look at the speed when he decides to get away. Goes in and away, a little bit high. He's very strong up top, Steve RENOUF, and often he'll shrug off his opposing players. And he's scored a few, hasn't he? 17, he's right up there. Just when he saw Darren Smith score moments ago, he was pretty keen to stay in touch.
Just shows you what the Broncos can do. They're such a brilliant side. But you could tell that when the Cowboys restarted play, the Broncos came roaring back at them. They weren't about to take a backward step in what has developed into a real battle here, this all-Queensland derby between the two sides. They weren't about to be out-muscled or outplayed. Now Lockyer, close to the touchline. Bring it around, but it swings across the face. All of a sudden, the Broncos have a handy lead, though. It's going to be harder for the Cowboys to get back at them now, down by 12 points, 22-10.
Just that ball from dummy half. TALLIS with a bit of an in and away there. Roberts coming across in cover, but I think it's Scott Mahon that was on the wing. It came in as well to make the tackle. That left some space down there for RENOUF, and doesn't he like it when he sees open space?
Well, if the Cowboys are going to get back into it, now's the time. Saylor started the rot after the previous restart with a strong run, got it all the way back to the 40. Bomber.
I've been trying to tell you about the Cowboys' medical problems the last couple of minutes. They've managed to, the medicos, patch up NADRUKU. He's got a hip injury. He's been slightly impeded by it, but he's out there trying to do his best. And also Luke Scott, that shoulder he popped earlier in the match, has gone again, so I doubt if he'll be back.
And here's TALLIS, having a tremendous second half. Lee dummy half. Langer puts the boot downfield over the head of Kyle Warren, who's in the fullback spot now. He heads into the arms of RENOUF, who tries or thinks about putting him over the sideline.
And almost did. Well, there's NADRUKU. That's a brave effort from him with that problem with his hip. But they need to get back up the other end of the field in a hurry, the Cowboys, and need to get some more points on the board.
Strong run by Josh HANNAY a moment back. But there's equally fierce defence from the Broncos. THORN stands over the top after TALLIS and Campion did the hard work. Now Martin Locke Tries to make some headway.
They've looked their best, the Cowboys, when they've managed to stand in tackles and have some support play. That's not happening at the moment. It's a bit one out.
John Doyle getting the pass away, but the Broncos moving the defence across in numbers. Doyle boots it past Wendell Sailor and into touch. Sailor probably did the right thing. He couldn't have controlled it if he had reached out.
Yeah, it would have been a tough one. That was a good kick, a very hard kick from Doyle, and Sailor thought about it for a moment. May have been able to get it, but really they're still going to get the ball back from the scrum feed. It's not worth the risk.
Now the wave is going around the crowd. And the players taking their time to get to this scrum. It's been played at a pretty fast and tough pace, this game.
Well, look at that missed tackle count. There've been a fair few in the last few minutes as well with those 2 tries. 25 from the Cowboys and just 8 from Brisbane, and a lot of line breaks. Only 3 for the Cowboys. Of course, they've come up with 2 tries, and Brisbane with 10.
And Brad Thorn takes it up, but Martin Locke meets him, and with the help of DUNEMANN stops him. TALLIS leaves the field. What an effort he's put in the last 15 minutes. Peter Ryan takes up the challenge, gets it back to Plath, and Plath breaks away. Looks the pass out to RENOUF. Back inside, lost by Darren LOCKYER. Pass with RENOUF just trying to get it underneath the tackler.
Gee, there's some good play out there. Great break from John Plath, wasn't it? They've got some numbers out wide. Darren Smith, one-on-one tackle that had to be made on John Doyle, and he came up with it.
Great reading of the play by Smith. Now Fritz gets it out to Mercy. He goes without it. And Peter Ryan picks it up to the Broncos.
Oh, Peter Ryan now has lost the ball in the tackle.
Hey, what do you got over there?
COOREY just wanting to get up and play it, but he didn't control it too well. Did they get an advantage? I guess they did. He had time to get up and play it. So it's going to be a scrum feed to the Cowboys. Just about to give Peter Ryan a wrap. I think he's had a magnificent game, particularly the second half.
Mark Graham runs out there with a message for the Cowboys. And Ray Mercy from the scrum win. Doyle, dummy half. Tries to duck under the tackle, gets it to the halfway. Deeth, Locke, nicely on. Kyle Warren hunting up the middle. Good work by the Cowboys, working back through the ruck. Martin Locke has another go. Has played well, the former Bronco.
Stepping like a 5'8" there, wasn't he? Taking it to the line. Deeth now with some room to move. Needed someone on the outside. It wasn't there. Doyle, in fact, gets the short pass back on the inside.
Goes through the hands of Deeth to DUNEMANN. He puts the kick up. Coming down on top of LOCKYER. He's lost it to Plath offside, I thought. That's not the way McBlane saw it.
I think it came back off one of the Cowboys. Kyle Warren, I think, was up there in amongst it somewhere.
Certainly Darren LOCKYER went up and challenged for it, but may not have got a hand on it. Now WEBCKE. SHIPWAY muscles up in defence, does well. Steve Walters back, and Andrew G also back from 10 minutes in the bin. Had 3 players in the bin in total tonight.
They've really had to battle hard for this lead, haven't they, Brisbane? It was nip and tuck throughout the early part of this second half.
And gathered there by Kyle Warren. When you think about it, with 12 men on both teams over the last 10 minutes, and the Broncos have scored 2 tries to bolt away to a lead, which probably will win them the game. The extra space would have suited the Broncos.
Yeah, no doubt. Both sides having that man in the bin. Locke now. Oh, good ball out the back. Jason Deeth has been following and trailing and trying to get a bit of a break there for his side. They really need to bust the Broncos. At the moment, they're getting to the line, not getting through, and it's made a little bit easier for the Broncos' defence in their kick returns.
Walters comes up the blind side with NADRUKU. He had Mercy with him. 5th tackle now. Doyle. Oh, just gets away from Langer, but he's in trouble. It comes off Smith. It's play on to Michael COOREY. He gets away from G. NADRUKU's there. Mercy's there as well. NADRUKU's still going. Steve Walters takes on HANCOCK, and he's got him. Throws it out the back. Doyle taken from behind by Langer. Ferris. Great defence, or was it Lockyer got there in the end?
Great play from the Cowboys. NADRUKU, some magnificent effort there in the end. Just have a look at this ball. The kick comes off, it bounces off a Broncos player. That's why COOREY's onside. He gives it to NADRUKU. Look at the inside, Ray Mercy, if he gives it to Mercy on the right, but he doesn't, he goes left, and a great effort there, one-on-one, wrapped up by Michael Hancock. Flicked out the back there, but Alfie Langer just recovering. Mercy was under the post, had NADRUKU known he was on his right. That would have made it interesting.
Well, wouldn't it? It would have been very interesting.
Nothing play.
If the Cowboys can score a converted try, the game is back in the balance. Bomber, what's news?
Well, we've got news on Kevy Walters. He's got a hip injury. He won't be back for the rest of the match, so disappointing for him in his matchup. Maybe the last one against brother Stephen.
Stephen nearly scored a try a moment ago.
Ian Roberts on the sideline along with Jason Ferris, just waiting for their opportunity to get back into the fray.
13 minutes left in the game. The Broncos leading by 12. Langer kicking over the head of Kyle Warren, who slipped, and racing through is Michael De Vere. He's on the field. He was showing good pace once Kyle Warren slipped over and that ball was loose. Anything could have happened. Now Michael COOREY.
Well, Scott Mahon's had a big match. He's on the sideline as well after about a 10-minute stint. On the bench, waiting to get back there. I imagine straight back into fullback. They need all the players out there that you'd call game breakers. Someone that can create half a chance. And he is back on the field now, Scott Mahon.
FRITZ to LOMAX. And deep. Cuts back on the angle. Well tackled by WEBCKE. 10 short of halfway. LOMAX. Flat off the dummy half. They've used up 5. DUNEMANN pops a short kick through, and here they come. HANNAY's there. Flicks it out the back. LOCKYER was awake to it, and Langer's got it offside. LOCKYER disputes the decision. Plenty of players have been arguing with referee McBlane today. They're not copying his decisions.
They have. He's done a good job, McBlane. He just told them that that's his decision. You cop it. Quick tap there from DUNEMANN's got them within 12 metres of the line.
The Cowboys have got to score here. Penalties 5-4 to the Broncos. Walters nearly got one a moment ago. That's a bad pass. And Plath knocked it down.
On the second tackle, they really didn't need that. The experience of Steve Walters normally would have held that back, but he must have thought it was on. It would have been a miracle ball had he got it away. And that has really eased it off for the Broncos now. Their chance just to work it upfield. Let's have another look at Steve Walters out of dummy half on the second tackle.
We'll just stick with the play at the moment as De Vere is caught with the ball. Now Campion. A moment ago, the Broncos wanted to swing it wide in their own 20. Working the wraparound with Lockyer, but he was caught. They keep going up that blind side. RENOUF got away from one. Can he get away from Kyle Warren? He's lost the ball anyway. And Kyle Warren managed to hang on. Ian Roberts is laying down the law out there.
He's playing front row, linesman and referee. Good effort from RENOUF. Look at him skirting with that touchline. Just couldn't get out of that last tackle, and he has lost it. Ian Roberts in cover had to let them all know about it. To say they've got another chance now, the Cowboys. They're not out of this match.
Get out of there, don't tackle him!
But they need to score soon. Time just ticking away on them. Just over 10 minutes to go. Ball lost. Penalty to North Queensland.
Second tackle from Andrew G. He's the man that's been penalised.
Another quick meeting out there. There's the incident. Andrew G coming in after the first tackle was completed. Now FERRIS kicks for touch, only picks up 5 metres. 5 all the penalties now. Possession just about evenly shared. Josh HANNAY trying to tear his way through. 25 metres out. Here come the Cowboys. DUNEMANN out to FERRIS. He picks out a runner, and on it goes quickly to NADRUKU.
Oh, just couldn't get that ball inside to COOREY. HANNAY on the other side of the field is down hurt for the Cowboys.
LOCKE. Broncos defence working overtime now to hold them. Played back by COOREY. Walters. FERRIS. Here's Scott Mahon up there. DUNEMANN, and running onto it. There's Kyle Warren. Back it comes once more to DUNEMANN. The long pass to FERRIS. They're trying to break this line. FERRIS has a go at it himself. Just can't slide through.
Good tackle there, John Platt. Brad Thorn over the top. They've gone down the left again with Walters. Now he pushes it back to the right.
This is the last. DUNEMANN puts the kick into the in-goal area, but LOCKYER's across, and he's tackled. Gets back to his feet. He's nailed there finally by Mercy. Initially a great effort by Kyle Warren to get him. And they've got the result of the dropout.
That was beautifully placed. He couldn't get it on the full on the in-goal, which is very important. Just going across field, DUNEMANN. He has had a very good match this afternoon. Just gets it short of the line. Gets pushed back in by Warren, and there's Mercy turning up to help his teammate. Another set of 6. Just taking his time to get back to the position to kick the ball back, Darren LOCKYER.
Now LOCKYER drops out. That's a long kick coming down on the halfway. Martin Locke takes it. On the full, comes back strongly, and he runs at Andrew G. Well, that's a recipe for disaster. He manages to survive. Now Roberts. Wouldn't he love a big finish here against the Broncos? Been some spite out there at times tonight. DUNEMANN. Kyle Warren. He lost HANNAY. HANNAY's not playing on the wing now. He's in the centres. DUNEMANN. FERRIS. Inside to FRITZ. Picks up NADRUKU. Nicely onto Mahon, but the defence was there. Back to NADRUKU. Quickly through the hands to FRITZ once more.
Good play. Plenty of defenders there, though. They're really marking up well. Brisbane.
FERRIS. Dummies one way. Goes out wide. Scott Mahon. Flicks it back inside to DUNEMANN. FERRIS stepping. Well, they're pummeling away here, the Cowboys. Is there a break for them? They're down to the last again. DUNEMANN with the kick. It could be too deep. LOCKYER carries it dead. Didn't want to chance it. Plenty of chasers coming through. Forced the decision on Darren LOCKYER. So, yet another dropout.
Looked like it may have been too big here as well, but LOCKYER has done the smart thing or the right thing. Yeah, that's why he picked it up. There was a chase there from Ray Mercy. He would have pounced on it had LOCKYER let it go. Another set, another chance. Clock's ticking away. That's the enemy of the Cowboys. They've got to worry about just getting on the board twice. They have to score twice converted if they're going to draw this match.
Martin Locke thunders back at them again. Oh, he's lost the ball, though. And Darren Smith has got it. Looked as if Locke was trying to unload or to get the hands up towards his head to unload over the top, and it came loose. Wasn't stripped. First tackle it was lost on, and that's a killer blow.
Gee, that's cruel, isn't it? John Platt's in there, Locke deciding to pop it out, but it's straight to Darren Smith. Could be the last roll of the dice.
10 apiece, the handling errors now. North Queensland have copped it up a couple of times in the second half. Darren Smith sets Wendell Sailor free. NADRUKU's after him. He can't get to him. Across comes Mahon, and LOCKYER. In the end, nothing happens. LOCKYER was inside, backing up Sailor, and it was a fizzle.
It was. You can see the disappointment there from Wendell. Beautiful ball, Darren Smith, hasn't he? Just set him alight this second half. Sailor just decides to put it on the toe because there's plenty of cover coming. Turns out to be a little torpedo straight over the sideline. Had it been placed in the field of play, a foot race, he was well positioned to beat them. John LOMAX now, hoping to get straight back on the field.
DUNEMANN, Ray Mercy out on the wing, was unmarked. Here's Scott Mahon, flings it back. They're just going to keep it alive. Jason Deeth.
Well, almost a bust here.
Michael COOREY caught. LOMAX, dummies towards SHIPWAY, took the tackle himself, got it back to Steve Walters.
Oh, the Canberra connection working well there. NADRUKU and FERRIS as well. There's another one of the ex-Raiders players. He takes it to the line. Deeth now at dummy half.
Deeth does well, almost went through. Tackle from behind by Phillip Lee. Walters keeps it going. Deeth again. LOMAX gives him the call, but he's taken by G. They've been forced to work hard in defence, the Broncos. Plenty of ball movement from the Cowboys. Out it goes to DUNEMANN. Slips it inside to Roberts. just inside the 20. Last tackle coming up. DUNEMANN puts it up high once again. Players coming from everywhere. LOCKYER plucks it out of the air. Beautiful take by Darren LOCKYER.
And just have a look at this. The bomb goes up there from DUNEMANN. You'll see LOCKYER appear on the left of the screen. Gets up over the top of them. Sailor's there as well. He would have taken it had LOCKYER not. They were both well positioned. He came down with no hands touched, no hands laid on him.
Here's Phillip Lee. Only 4 minutes to go. Peter Ryan.
Well, you'd have to say now that it's all too late for the Cowboys. Peter Ryan staying down hurt. Jersey over his head. Is he lost or is he not feeling well? I think he's not too well.
Here's LOCKYER to clear it away from their own end of the field. Mahon takes it on the full. He has DeVere in front of him, and a good tackle low by RENOUF. HANNAY gets the call to throw it wide to FERRIS, to Michael COOREY, and he tries to bust through the tackle of Langer. He held onto him. LOMAX looms up, has Death running with him, slips it away beautifully. Great play between the two Canberra X's.
They've had some great performers out there, haven't they? Both sides. The Cowboys with LOMAX and Death have taken it to them all night. Made a couple of nice little busts, but just not enough to get them over the line in the second half.
Walters, LOMAX, has Mahon coming up the middle as well. Can they get another try before the end of the match? Last tackle play now for them. DUNEMANN could run it, decides to run it. Kyle Warren can't take the pass, and Steve RENOUF dives on it. Warren took his eye off the ball, seeing RENOUF coming in quick on him. And Michael DeVere runs away from dummy half. TALLIS broke the game wide open in the middle of the second half. WEBCKE. This has been a great game of football.
He just keeps coming, doesn't he, Shane WEBCKE, and runs as straight as a gun barrel, but he's hard to knock over. John LOMAX took care of him that time, but he's a hard man to hurt.
LOCKYER in the one movement puts it to the toe. John Doyle's back there. Slipped away from LOCKYER, but couldn't get away from all of them. Hancock's there. Well, out to SHIPWAY. We've got to go from one end of the field to the other now.
Well, they do with just a minute and a half remaining, and that's been the real difference, hasn't it? 13 line breaks for Brisbane, just 4 for the Cowboys. They've done well enough in defence, but they just needed to get over that line a couple of more times, and it could have been a lot closer. That's been a problem area as well. 27 missed tackles, although they're not the only side that's conceded that many missed tackles against Brisbane this year.
DUNEMANN working it away. Kyle Warren slipping somewhat as he took the pass. Now DUNEMANN launches the kick downfield, looking for touch, and finds it, which will take us just about through to the end of the game. Well, North Queensland certainly aren't going to make the final 10 today, but they've won plenty of friends with this wholehearted effort tonight. On the other hand, the Broncos still right up there at the top of the ladder, looking for that minor premiership.
Well, it was very important, wasn't it? Because not only Melbourne are ahead of them after their win last night, there's a couple of other sides that are really breathing right behind them, Newcastle and Parramatta, and a loss or 2 losses would see them out of one of those coveted top 2 positions.
Langer to put the ball in. The Broncos might try something, they will. The kick ahead, Darren LOCKYER streaking through, he's going past Ray Mercy. The ball 10 metres out, LOCKYER's there, gathers it in. Hancock's with him in support. LOCKYER just short.
What about that pick up? A quick play the ball, they've got a score on the left.
Hancock goes for number 3 on his back, held up. Michael Hancock went for it himself, looking for the hat-trick. Well, and that's full time.
It looked like he may have got there. He probably could have passed to the left, but
Ray Mercy giving chase there has got a cramp, chasing that kick downfield. Well, a very exciting game of football to watch. Both teams hammering away at each other. The Broncos with the speed to convert breaks into tries. full time. The Brisbane Broncos continue their march towards a possible premiership, defeating the Cowboys 22-10. Smile on Allan Langer's face. Michael Hancock had a very strong first half, didn't see as much ball in the second, but they had plenty of match winners out there tonight.
Well, they did. Both sides, they should keep their heads in the air. They all had to go out there, every player, and Brisbane really know they were in for a match there. They had to pull out a couple of special plays, courtesy of Gorden, TALLIS.
Earlier, Wendell Saylor and Ian Roberts were at each other's throats. There they are, shaking hands and a quick word. All friends after the game.
Yeah, the best way to do it, isn't it? Leave it on the field. Of course, everyone gets caught up in the heat of the battle. When you've been around as long as these blokes, well, you know it's no point in taking it off the field.
Quite an extraordinary atmosphere here tonight. This big crowd making so much noise all night. You'd think it was a grand final. Sometimes I don't think they were even watching the game. They were more intent on a Mexican wave a few times, but the atmosphere was tremendous. And I'm sure that did have an impact on the players. They lifted as well.
Almost a carnival, wasn't it? And of course, the crowd, a lot of the Cowboys supporters would be Broncos supporters as well, no doubt. A lot of their Queensland heroes are out there. They've seen them win the State of Origin Shield earlier in the year.
Let's go down to Chris Bombolas with our NEC Man of the Match.
Yes, thanks, boys. The NEC Player of the Match, thanks to Harvey Norman. Darren Smith, congratulations, Darren. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mama. Yeah, it was a good victory by the boys. I think the Cowboys did us a bit of a favour there at the start. They came out very fired up, and I think it woke a lot of us up. You know, we knew we were in for a very good game. The crowd stirred the game up even more, and I think the crowd can go away happy with a good game.
So much for that so-called easy run. The experts have been saying you blokes have got a half a dozen easy games into the finals, but every game's been a tough one.
Yeah, they have. A lot of these teams, when they do play the Broncos, it's like a grand final to them, and they love nothing better than knock us over. And if we're not in our game, like today, we're just lucky that they came out fired up, woke us up, and we stuck with them.
The NRL's leading try scorer this season. Things are going along nicely for you, but it must be hard knowing that at the end of September you're heading off to another club.
Oh, it is. Hopefully this year we can make the grand final, and never know what happens after that. But Canterbury's a very good club, and looking forward to going back there.
Congratulations, Darren, our NEC Player of the Match, thanks to Harvey Norman.
Thank you, NEC and Harvey Norman. And
well done. There he is, Darren Smith, and congratulations to him. He's going to celebrate with his Broncos. Commiserations goes to the Cowboys and Steve Walters. You gave it to him. You stuck it to the Broncos.
Yeah, we were real pleased. We wanted to go out and let them know they're going to hit for a game, and I think we give them a pretty good hit out.
Yeah, no shortcuts, and get square were the mottos for this week. You wanted to really test the Broncos, and obviously, mathematically, you were still a chance of making the 10.
Yeah, we didn't really focus on that much, to be honest. It was a good chance for us, for the guys, to get a game against, obviously a good quality side like the Broncos, and I thought everyone really had a go.
What about for you, Steve? Last game here at Malanda Stadium, is this the end for Steve Walters? 2 more away games?
Oh, mate, me mind yet, Bomber. If you can get me a start somewhere. I'm not sure, mate. I just taking me time, having to think about the end of the year.
Yeah, not much nostalgia there for you, Steve. You're not thinking about it. You obviously want to finish off the season with 2 more matches away.
Yeah, we've got 2 games to go, and I just want to play well in those 2 games and see what happens then.
All right, well, congratulations. The boys have got a bit of a presentation, and well done, mate.
Thanks very much.
There he is, Steve Walters, and we might take you back to the commentary.
Thanks, Chris. The 4X Queensland Challenge Cup being presented between these 2 Queensland teams, battling it out here tonight. And didn't they battle it out? They gave it to each other, all right. As both the fellas we just heard from said, it was a tough game out there tonight, plenty of bruises.
Yes, and as I said before, the fans would have been very happy. What a great match it was. You can see the fans have come in numbers. There's a huge group just up in the top of that stand there that no doubt are all members of some sort of club. The Brisbane Broncos, there was a challenge there. It was a bit of a perpetual trophy, I think, sponsored by Castlemaine. The Broncos have won that last year at ANZ Stadium. It was a draw, so these 2 sides, there's not much between them when they both turn it on, and the Cowboys, well, they really lifted their performance.
Well, the crowd have had a good night, and they saw the Brisbane Broncos defeat the North Queensland Cowboys 22 points to 10, 22 to 10. We'll be back in a moment after this break.